Inside at last.
Welcome, fellow Taffers, to Inside at Last, the one and only thief dedicated podcast. And today, if you put your ear close to a door, you might hear our conversation. My name is Alex, and I'm joined by Sheriff Nex and, of course, the leader of the speedrunnerkists, Psychosis. Hi.
Hey.
Hey, guys.
It's always amazing how I just like those things come to my head the moment I talk.
Just witty.
Shit. Yeah. And I'm like,
I
always
like that.
Oh, hopefully I can keep it to the end. Like,
I like that. Put your ear to the door. It's kind of fitting for the episode.
oh yeah, what mission are we talking about today? Is it somehow connected?
Ooh.
Well, today we're talking about the mission Eavesdropping, and it's the mission which follows the last cutscene of the ambush mission, which explains how the keepers are trying to enlist us again, at least acquire our help in their cause. But of course, we decline, and they counteroffer the proposition of you can get some good information here, and this might get his trust. So we're going into this old Hammerite cathedral, which is now a mechanist seminary, and we are about to spy on Karis and Truard's meeting.
Right. And interesting is I made notes about this mission, and it's just 2 lines. So the first one is, we will come to that later, how I like the mission, but the first one is bell, clipping error, question mark, and introduction to deal with metal beasts. Those are my notes. I'm well prepared, so
Well, two's better than nothing.
yeah.
Right?
So, first question: did you had that clipping error in the bell? No.
That's
just kidding. Oh, sorry. Go.
I could explain it if you want. It's just it's just because
general
it's an
problem.
object.
Can I intervene here, please?
Yeah.
What exactly is this thing that you're going to explain?
You know the famous bell on this
On in one of the towers.
yeah,
at
and
the top
it
of
is on the wooden surface, and you can't rope up there.
Yeah, it's because it's an actual object. So
I've never tried, actually.
You can't rope arrow into the wood because it's not actually the wood texture.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
It's part of the object.
Yeah, and then I think I found this in many missions, fan missions as well. This issue.
Yeah, it's the same
Sucks
same
because,
object.
because like, okay, you can go up, you need to go up. Might be something hidden, and then you take your rope.
Yeah,
or
you
bloop.
think like there might be like stuff on top of the wood. Yeah, that's holding it, but nope.
Yeah, that's all about the mission. Thanks for listening. See you later, guys. It was amazing. I think we covered everything. No, next you explained it very well.
Thank you.
Maybe you have to read some poem at the end again.
So, did you guys like the mission?
Nope.
Yes.
Oh, different opinions. I love that. Supreme, why didn't you like it?
I think it's pretty boring. It's for the story, it's pretty interesting because a lot of things about the mechanists. I think it's actually the first time you really face a mechanist territory on purpose.
Yes.
And this is pretty cool. But first, metal floors everywhere, blah 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 blah. And yeah, there are some interesting things that we will cover later, like when you find out how the servants are produced, and of course the conversation between Truard and Karis is really important and very well spoken by. Actually, it's Stephen Russell who speaks Karis.
Yeah, the voice actor of Garrett.
Yeah.
Someone out there somehow didn't know. you know?
Yeah, and it's pretty amazing how that he is the same person.
Yeah.
But I think I don't like the whole architecture there. It's I don't know. It feels. I said that in
Basic.
some episodes
Yeah.
earlier that this whole thing, like what the goal is, could have happened anywhere. Like in a hotel, in a pub, or whatever. The whole environment doesn't suit the mission, in my opinion. It's that. Yeah.
Okay. And
So sorry, Psychosis. Why did you like it?
yeah. Well, okay. I said in the Endless Rain episode that I'm more about like gameplay than like story, but this is my one exception, and I will admit that it's kind of not boring, but it's kind of just standard gameplay, like boxy rooms, not really exciting in its level design. But like I love anything with Mechanist or Hammerites. Like in Thief 1, my favorite mission was Undercover, and a lot of people don't like Undercover, but I'm just a sucker for anything like religious, like I like cathedrals and like the music and the atmosphere, the readings. Like I'm just a sucker for like any of that.
But one question, because you made the comparison, isn't Undercover the one where you are going in as Hemorrhoids Novice?
Yeah, it's
Right.
you go undercover, and a lot of people don't like that mission because that mechanic's kind of janky.
Because you make the comparison, but this mission added like a very interesting twist and gameplay thing that is totally unique to the original missions. So in comparison to Eavesdropping, it's I think there is no comparison, because you had that really exciting, heart-beating situation you were in as Garrett, playing, like, maybe he was John Smith.
Yeah, literally.
I think it lacks a lot of for the gameplay,
The
and
tension,
the environment wasn't. I think the environment is actually not bad. It's a pretty mission.
But that's the gameplay. Like,
but the gameplay is lacking. Like,
I mean, the similarities between the two is that you kind of enter the complex where pretty much all you get is Hammerite or Mechanist, readables, atmosphere, conversations.
Yeah, that was the comparison I was making. Just anything where you kind of
I'm not a fan
into
of
the
that.
society. Oh, okay.
I'll say this. I don't mind it. I'm definitely more inclined to nobility, city missions, and stuff like that.
Me too.
A lot of times, whenever you get to Hammerite or Mechanist, it's like you can. It's immediately it's going to be metal floor and barracks type apartments, and very guarded as well, because pretty much this is another police station. It's a facility with armed forces, right? Even though it's a church. Yeah. Is there another part or argument why you mission?
I mean that's pretty much it. Like it's as simple as I just like anything along those lines of Mechanist or Hammerite.
Here's we were talking last week. We were talking about the mission Ambush, and you disliked
2 weeks
that
ago.
mission.
Sorry,
2 weeks ago. Yeah, time flies fast.
Feels like it's the same day, right?
Right. So you didn't like that mission, correct?
No.
Yeah. So this is what I find funny. Here we have a speedrunner that likes the mission that is notoriously bad for speedrunning, and if you get the wrong key, it's like over, right?
There's one mistake you do here. There are some players, like Psychosis, I suggest, that can adapt their play style on what they're doing. And of
I can't
course,
hear you. No.
There are others that are like, oh yeah, I want to review this mission, so I go through it like speedrunning style and skip all the important parts. Uh, so I think Psychosis can just get into the role of, okay, now I'm playing the mission from the way it was intended to
Yeah.
be.
That's very
And-
good. Compliments to you.
Yeah, amazing, Psychosis, how you do that. That's really like I think you have like a psychological disorder because of you have those multiple personalities.
He's a mind chameleon.
Yes,
Hmm,
actually,
I like that. Mind chameleon.
write that down. New and Psychosis changed his name to
Wow.
Suddenly, the speedrunning community has this new upcoming
Runner.
Yeah.
runner.
Yeah, and he sounds familiar.
So back to the mission. I
Yes.
myself never really liked the mission, but looking back now, it's like I think it's because it was shadowed by the previous mission and the following mission. I'm a fan of bank mission, and unlike
love
you
that
two, I'm a
mission.
fan of ambush mission.
Yeah.
So this one was kind of in between, very
Two
small.
good missions.
I never
yeah.
said I'm not a fan of Ambush. I just want to make that right. I think it's just lacking a lot of potential. It was
Oh.
like underwhelming.
Yeah, and
But
we
I
agreed on
totally
that.
like
yeah.
the idea and the story and the
And I will admit this mission is actually kind of small
Oh, yeah.
for what it is.
Yeah.
Like even when I was playing it casually, I still beat it in like 30 minutes. Like, and that's with the 5 and 7 minute like cutscene that you have to sit through pretty
Yeah.
much.
Even speedrunners don't go over 2 hours.
Yeah.
I said speedrunners. I meant Supreme Ghosters.
Yeah. It's a pretty quick mission.
Yeah.
In and out.
But I feel like this mission had like we said in the previous episode, the story is already in how do you
Full
say
motion.
it? In full motion, right? And
Swing. Yeah.
but still, in this mission, this is the first time where we get to know Truard and Kara's much more intimately.
Yeah.
Not through readables anymore. We're actually spying on them, and from the conversation, you can kind of read a lot more of their character, a lot more of their thoughts. And
Yeah, here comes the point. Like, I think next it was you that said no. Was it you, Psychosis? I don't know. But we said like in mission 3 that when you don't know the rest of the story and how everything goes, that Truard actually seems to be a pretty nice guy.
Not
that
a nice
point.
guy, but like, like he seems to be overly just, if that's a word, like
yeah.
Yeah,
I
but he
agree.
seems
Too-
to
too
be like
righteous.
an okay character, like he's like
Yeah,
okay,
not
mostly,
corrupt.
mostly behaves strange, but I will give her another chance, which is actually not fitting like those empowered characters in the Thief universe. So, but here you really get to know that he really doesn't care.
You get hints of it in Ambush with the one conversation, and then here you kind of just see it straight up
Yeah.
what he's doing.
So it's a game changer, this mission, of course.
Yeah, and it does offer a little bit more in the like you said, where there's this little laboratory where they make new servants.
Oh,
Yeah,
like and you could find the bodies underneath.
I
Yeah.
could
And
really,
secret.
I get really learn to hate these guys.
Yep.
Says.
it's like we said in the previous mission where it had some unused potential. I think like in this mission there is not maybe gameplay wise, but at least story wise, there's a lot of unused potential. I feel it's much less stripped of objects. It's much more full, but still it kind of lacks for me something.
I feel like they could have went like the catacombs could have been like more fleshed out.
Yeah.
Instead, they're kind of just like boxed rooms next to each other.
Now that you mention the catacombs,
Or the
let's-
crypts, whatever they are, yeah.
we mentioned this before when I said that the speedrunner. I find it funny that speedrunner likes this mission. Can you tell us a little bit more about different key locations where they are?
Okay. Yeah, so
can we come to
let's
that later
backtrack to
when
the-
we
oh.
had the right, we're on the same way.
Well, let's talk about the objective, right, of the mission that we
Okay,
kind of
let's do that.
over, right? The objective is well, in the briefing, the keeper gives you a letter, I believe, and the letter, if I can find it, says if you seek private knowledge of the sheriff, go to the Eastport Mechanist Seminary tomorrow night. With stealthy discretion, you overhear what you may at a certain very timely meeting. So
Very nice.
yeah, because after getting ambushed, Garrett's like, "Wow, screw this sheriff dude," I'm mad. And then the keeper's like, "Hey, I got some knowledge on him. Go here and you'll see what I mean." So we're here, and the main objective is to just listen in on this conversation, this meeting, which conveniently only happens, when you get to the door. There's no actual time limit or time specificness to it. It just conveniently starts right as you get there.
Which is actually pretty nice.
Yes. So I always do it last whenever I play this mission, but just get it out of the way.
Yeah. What happens after?
So in the mission, when you get to the door, you listen to a conversation, and next you could probably go in on this conversation because this is probably like the most important part of this mission. Obviously, is the conversation. It's what it's based around.
Okay.
And what you learn in it is kind of appalling, I guess.
So
And important for the future
Yes.
missions as well.
yeah. So what happens during this conversation is that, of course, Stuart and Karis are meeting, and correct me if I'm wrong. They begin by Stuart saying, like, what's your plan really behind all this? And then Karis, of course, shows him the servants that they're creating, and
No, he shows the rust gas. Or
I think no.
He shows the servant, and
the servant emits the rust gas, and he shows him the servants used as weapons. And while Stuart is a little bit shocked by the reveal, he plays it off and he says, "Okay, I will give you what you
20.
need. 20, no more,
Yeah, no more,
because I don't trust you."
Vagabonds.
Exactly, and he promises these lowly people, and that's it. It kind of shows the two people don't trust each other, and after the meeting is over and Truart leaves, we can still overhear Karis saying that how he captured Truart's voice on this Victrola, and he has some
Loading.
knowledge. Yeah, he has blackmail material. And of course, he explains that this is going to be placed into a certain bank and tells us where the key is. And of course, Garrett's objective at this point is to
Make a mold.
Make a mold of the key so he can go and grab that recording. I find this conversation, I have a couple of points on it, but let's go. Actually, that's pretty much it. So we have to get the key, make a mold, return the key, and then go back to the starting location
and leave.
Also, we have to get the loot goal to a certain degree. Yeah,
which finally back.
Yeah, on this mission, it's on expert. It's quite steep. I always find myself going into places I didn't want to go just to complete the loot goal.
Yeah, you have to go into the catacombs on expert.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so
And the catacombs are annoying.
but you mentioned the key, and there's like a important mechanic.
Yeah, I
happening
could
at that
explain this
moment.
because I've been scorned by it so
Please
much.
do.
It's so
You already
this is why
explained
I
it
also
in the speedrun episode. Just
in case new listeners don't know.
no, I just want to say that if you want to hear him again talking about it, listen to the speedrun episode.
If
Yeah.
you're interested in speedrunning, that's the place to go.
Yeah.
Actually.
So every time you play the game or play the mission, at the start of it, one of 9 key locations is selected as the key that you need, and then all the other 8 are just like dummy keys, like they're just random keys. I don't think they even are used for anything. But so every time you listen to the convo, at the end of it, he'll say like a voice line like, "Oh, you can find the safety deposit box key in the pulpit in the church," and then that's underneath the the thing that the priest would stand in front of to talk and like read his stuff. I
Yeah.
forget what it's called. The little stand. And then there's ones like in the factory. There's it could spawn all over.
Altar,
And
I think it's the word.
yeah, altar. Thank you. So that's why I also kind of like this mission casually. It's like every time you play it, it's like a different
Key
little
location, yeah.
key location. Spices it up a little bit. They tried something, and I can appreciate it.
I do like
but
that
they
random
assume
factor.
that people replayed this mission.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, when it comes to this random factor, I like it, but just last day when I played this mission, I noticed that there's a key which was never actually
Used.
selected.
The one in
used,
the
yeah.
catacombs, I think, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was
It's
thinking,
there, but it does nothing. Yeah.
really? So it's not even an option, right?
I read that on expert it can be an option, but like I've never gotten it on expert.
Okay, because
And
I
I've played the
haven't.
mission like a bunch of times.
I didn't play as much as you, I bet, but I also haven't gotten that key. And when I was traversing the catacombs, it was like, because it mentions that this used to be an old Hammerite thing. It
Yeah.
felt like it would be so great if the key was always there, and I'd have to go into the catacombs to get the key, just to give it a little bit of
sense.
Well, why would Karis have the safety deposit box key on a dead body in the catacombs?
Well, here's a quick explanation.
I'm very interested in that.
Sure. Like, I'm sure there are. Why would he have it in the mechanical room, or why would he have it in the guards' quarters, right?
Or in the closet? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like always.
But why? But still, why would he have it in the catacombs?
Well, because there's actually
There is a guard down there.
There's a guard, right, who got killed by the Hammerite haunts. So that could easily be one of Karis's lieutenants.
Yeah,
or
like
trusted men. Yeah.
Maybe
like
it's
he
a
entrusted
warden.
him with the key. Oh my god.
No.
Okay, I can
But
see
yeah,
that.
that was that key was like that was in a fun location. I always like the extended drama where like they say we gave the key to this guy and this guy went there and he never returned. That always like sparks up intrigue in me, right? You're like, oh, I wonder what happened, even though I knew about the catacombs.
That's actually a pretty amazing idea.
Yeah, it's like it's going forward, because when he says, yeah, the key is in guards' quarters, I'm like, oh, jolly.
But really, right? Didn't they do this because you're totally right. That would have been the best. I gave it to my most loyal guard or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you could say like, oh, and he just went to. Why didn't they?
Or you could put like
key,
a readable.
Why didn't they put the key
Right.
on a guard and put him in different locations?
Yeah, or like they could have put it on that guard, and then like you go to like maybe you go check his office and then you see like a readable that says you have to patrol the catacombs. You know,
Oh yeah,
they
something
could have
like
done
that.
something like that
Yeah.
to make that key relevant. But I
You-
feel like they couldn't justify it, so they just like didn't use
Yeah.
it.
I mean, it was a
but
small
but
mission.
here but here you
Larger.
see the problem with the first creating the levels and then
Yeah.
putting the missions into it, because I think that this this whole environment, first of all, I think it doesn't look really very mechanist like. It really seems,
Like
of course,
the upstairs and stuff.
yeah,
I
it's
think
like,
I love the cathedral, but the rest of it's kind of boring. Yeah.
you know, it's, of course, it's like an old Hammerite building, and
Mhm.
they now are using it, and there's still like a destroyed fence on that one roof and stuff. But I don't know, like, was it really important to put metal on all the ways and not making everything else look like, you know, like, of course there are like statues from the typical mechanists, stylish figures, but it doesn't feel right, in my opinion. And it's the same with, as you said, like, yeah, the key is on random places, like they don't, it doesn't make sense, like, why is it there? So I think the whole location is wrong for this mission. I think it would have been better if this would be like a city mission, like maybe Karis and Truot are meeting like
At the
in
pub where you get
at
ambushed.
not,
you know,
yeah, or maybe at a more luxury thing, but
Like a
something like
hotel, yeah.
that, like in a separate room. And then you have to go, like he says, like, yeah, and I keep it in my office, or like someone keeps it at his office there, the key. And then you have to go through the city and to figure out how to get into that building. You know, that would have been way more interesting and more fitting.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. You know.
I mean, even the laboratory. The laboratory is next to the church, which is fun. And also there's the where you there's the forge and the, how do you call
The
where
wax,
they make stuff. Yeah, the wax, and then
the
what
wax
do you call
mold.
the whole workshop. That's what I was
Oh, the
looking
workshop.
for.
Yeah.
There's
With the-
workshop and the laboratory all under a church.
But I think that fits
That makes
with the
sense for the
mechanist
next-
theme.
Yeah. They it's like a compound.
Okay, you win this one. I agree.
Well, what doesn't kind of fit is the is Karis's bedroom being like kind of where it is. You know where it is, like
Yeah,
a little
really.
ladder. It's kind of like a little rinky dink. You know, first off, I don't think Karis would even be able to climb that ladder and like jump
First,
into his
yeah.
room.
Yeah.
You know,
Why does he have a bedroom there? I think he has
yeah.
a
Like he
good
could have used
one
the priest
in
ones.
Agent's
Yeah.
Watch.
That too.
Yeah, maybe it's just a makeshift.
No, the whole scenery doesn't fit what they are trying
It's
to
definitely odd,
show you.
but it gives you the impression that they're really just taking an old Hammerite cathedral and just like forcing their stuff into it. So like it comes off odd sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. And also, the mission gave me a feeling in the readables that they kind of just took over.
Yeah.
Which makes Alex's point even better. Like, why is there immediately the metal floors if it just took
That's
over?
their thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's like and then you know the little subtle, maybe not so subtle detail, like all the grass is dead around
Really?
all the brown grass, like it's just like dead, you know, it's like wilting.
Wow,
Yeah.
I didn't notice that detail.
But but now when he says it, yeah, he's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So when mechanists take over a place, they lay down metal plates and they
Kill the grass.
salt the earth. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
well,
maybe it's because of the child of Karis that's walking around all over
That
the
too.
place.
And all the steam and maybe like the fire. But whenever you anger one of them, you know, they're like, "Oh, you leaf-eating villain." You know, like they really don't like paganism.
No.
Like more than the Hammerites. Like the Hammerites could at least tolerate like grass and like trees and stuff. Like the mechanists are like, no,
Yeah. Also in this mission,
none of that.
there's a conversation where two guards are speaking, and one says, I'll tell you this because we're friends or something, but I wish that the mechanist machines would be better to look at. And then the other guard explains why that is, and then he says, like, do you think that your body full of fluids is
And
pleasant to the
gases?
pleasant to the builder? Of course not, right? You're
Yeah,
disgusted.
you get the sense that they're very brainwashed
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
especially
What I like
Karis.
about this conversation is it's a woman and a man,
Yeah.
and he explains it to her. He's mansplaining her, and then she leaves. And after, like, when she's away, like, I don't know, like 20 meters or something, then he says, like, such a fool, Karis would be
For
advised to get
accepting
rid
women.
of her.
Yeah.
No, I think it's not about the sex. It's just about, like, she doesn't get, what he just tells her, like why she should have known from his perspective already.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not sure about this, but I think she's much taller than him.
Is this this is the conversation in the basement factory?
No,
This
it's
is the
outside.
outside on the
outside.
right
Okay.
side.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think this is Lady Brienne from Game of Thrones because I think she's way taller than him.
I never
Yeah.
watched it.
It's unimportant here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they do lay down the tile floors and they curse everything that's biological. So that's
Pretty much.
mechanists for you.
Well, yeah. Spoilers later on, but the main goal of the mechanist is kind of dastardly.
Yeah.
What I also don't get is they have this little facility where they forge the servants.
Bots, yeah, and stuff, yeah.
And where the former human servants.
Mhm.
And where you can find that area where the dead bodies are lying and stuff.
Yeah.
What I don't get is, like, why would they put this in that little room? And like, they would have a way bigger facility for that to be productive.
Good point.
I think the whole thing, like, as you described, like the bedroom of Karas, I think they really ran out of ideas to fill this place with a mechanist style. Like, why put a bedroom of Karas in there? Like, it could have been a normal room and no one would have thought about it. But now that they make it Karas' bedroom, like, that doesn't make sense. And the same with the facility.
Kind of couple of things in this mission are like shoved into weird places.
You feel like, and to me, like that, like I said earlier, kind of makes it feel like the mechanist really just came in and kind of like had just slabbed everything in that they could instead of just overly like remaking the area.
Yeah,
but where they started doesn't, it's I don't know. Let's go on. I don't want to rant on this.
Yeah. Here's a funny thing I remember vividly from the first time I played this mission. I laughed about it later, but Karas in the conversation with Truard says something like, "I will show you this new device, and it's going to be used on the unfortunate gutter snap, which is standing right outside the door."
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, they know about me. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know what to do. Should I run away? But, the little boy in me that played this was like, oh, I guess I'll just play along. And I actually clicked on the door, but the door wouldn't open. And then I realized what a fool I am.
But I think they did this on purpose.
Do you think so?
Yes, of course. It's like so obvious.
This is just a random kind of question, but which door do you guys always listen to?
Ooh,
The
interesting.
outside one or the inside one?
Outside.
I always do the inside.
Because you're a speedrunner.
That and I think it's just a lot safer
What? No.
because there's the little shadow in that little like rust. It's like the weirdest thing. It's like a little rust like
But
canopy,
no
whatever
no
you call
one
it.
can look up the stairs where you are sitting on the outside.
That is true, but that no one also patrols by the door.
Well,
No, there's a guard running around there.
there's a
and,
guard.
and for the sake of being efficient, you know, you're already inside. So like if it's inside, you could just get to it like right away. You know?
For me, it was like I didn't want to. Like I always try to minimize the amount of time I'm in the line of sight of guards.
Mhm.
And the guard, actually, it's the same guard that patrols both areas. So he goes from graveyard, then he goes into guards quarter. Sorry, acolytes quarter first, and then he
Yeah.
goes into guards quarters and then back out. And I felt like it's always going past, and the shadow is very small. And if you think about it, if this is the room where Truart and Karis are, it's much more plausible to me that they would exit the door to still be inside the building than to just
Right.
leave the building, right?
Yep.
Also, when you said the little shadow, I think the whole upstairs
Is
you
in
know,
shadow. Might be.
is in shadow. Yeah, it's like a big shadow.
The outside one might be easier to get to, and I'll agree with that.
Yeah, but the
And a lot
effectiveness,
safer.
yeah, it's kind of actually maybe this is the thing, because if you go and listen to the outside door, you
Mhm.
either have to enter where the guard is patrolling, which nobody wants to. Actually, I think Supreme does it because that guard is already sleeping behind the grave. But
course.
if
Hey,
you,
I'm not
how
gonna
else
too.
to do it?
well, if you leave the guard to be, you kind of have to go. Well, first of all, you have to go through the little tunnel, which of course is covered, floored by metal. You have
Oh,
to
yeah.
get there, so you have to creep there, listen to the conversation, which lasts how long?
5.5 minutes.
5.5 minutes, and then you have to creep all the way back and get into the inside, from
Mhm.
the easier angle. So it's I would say it's safer but more tedious.
I think the whole mission is tedious.
Yeah, but here's the thing. When we 2 weeks ago when we talked about which missions do you skip, this was the skip mission for me,
Yeah.
Really?
because it was like,
Don't
yeah,
you remember?
I know the conversation that happens. It's so small. It's like not even worth getting into. So I was just like, which one's the next one? Bank? Okay, I'm at the bank already.
So
Right?
so yeah. So you're saying like if you had one skip, this would be it.
No.
Okay,
Um,
I was gonna
Go the
say
Lost
because
City.
there's
The
other
Lost
worse
City would
missions.
be
yeah,
this.
yeah. But a lot of times I would start playing the series and then stop at some point and
And this
get
was always it.
sidetracked. And so, like the latter missions, I would, have a chance to skip less often because I wouldn't get there. Because maybe a new fan mission would come out, and I'd be like, "But I'm playing original." Well, fuck original missions. I'm sorry about
Yeah.
that.
Oh, Cardia made a new mission. Amazing.
And you're playing that mission instead of playing this one that you played 1,000 times. So replaying it for the sake of podcast was almost like,
Torture.
Underwhelming.
it was refreshing because I haven't played it for so long. A couple of places I didn't remember. I remembered pretty much most of it. It was not like there was something new, but it, you haven't been accustomed to it. It was less,
Nope.
like
But
I already know the way, and
But
I had to do a little bit of
this is
discovery.
a checkmark mission.
Check mark.
Yeah, because you know what to do, and there's not much interesting things
Yeah.
around. You know,
For me,
the conversation is very interesting.
Conversation.
And I still like to listen to it today because
Yeah.
it's well spoken and everything. It adds a lot of atmosphere. But it's that, and then hopefully the key is in a spot which is easy to reach,
Easy
blah,
to
blah, blah.
get.
And then
Yeah.
it's like, yeah.
It like I said at the beginning, like the gameplay, yeah, I could agree it's kind of
Yeah.
or
It is.
mediocre at best. But to me, like the readables, the atmosphere, like the ambience that are used, the conversations, kind of, and just the general mechanist vibe is what really gets me going on this.
Yeah.
But for me, it's not feeling like
It's not enough. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, like something's missing there. I don't get it. But yeah, of course, the readables are pretty interesting.
The little hymn where it's talking about like the boiler being your heart,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the valves are the limbs, and steam is the blood.
Bless Karis for making the
Who forges the boiler, and praise
Yeah.
the builder who forges thee. It's so good.
Wow. We have brother psychosis.
Yeah,
Wow.
friend psychosis. What they
Friend
call.
psychosis.
I,
Yeah.
I I always love that, the friend. They call each other friend and stuff.
So mechanists are much more
Friendly.
and individual, because like there's a step backwards from brother to friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have like in the church, the big church, which I think is like looks awesome. You have like if you come in through the front door, because I think actually one of the red keys does unlock the front door.
Really?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so. And you come in and like that big angel's like leaning over, and you hear like the whole, and then you
Yeah.
just see like how tall it is and like everything. It's so good. And then in between the little pews, there's like the readable by the woman who's like, "Oh, your sermon was so inspiring."
Yeah.
I never thought of it that way. Being like what was it, like a little cog floating around in a big boiler,
Yeah.
so warm. You know.
Actually,
and she-
I think that the whole aesthetics of the Mechanist is done really well.
Yes.
It reminds me a bit of the what is the Swiss man called, Giger, who designed the Alien from Alien. He has
like
like all those abstract, sometimes really strange paintings and stuff. But I think the whole aesthetic is like a bit reminiscent to this. And yeah, I think and of course it's like a bit like Egypt ways, like they put in there, and I love that. Like all those figurines and stuff, they did an amazing job here with the whole art style. As I said, like one of the early episodes, like in Thief 2, why I like Thief 2 so much, that the whole aesthetics are way more comfortable and appealing.
It's a lot more what's the word? Art Deco. That
right.
like kind of
Yeah, right. It's
style.
art. Yeah, right. You're totally right. It's Art
Like
Deco, but
1920s, like USA.
they
type.
mixed it with it's done amazingly, even in those really primitive
Whereas,
3D
yeah.
graphics.
Whereas like Thief 1 was more like medieval-ish.
Actually, do you think that maybe the Angel Watchtower was a bit inspired by the Chrysler Building?
It's definitely like the most like Art Deco type building you'll ever see.
And because just today I saw something about it was Jontron. He was doing something about architecture, and there he was talking about the Chrysler Building, and
it does look like it. Yeah.
And yeah, I think it was an inspiration, maybe.
Definitely. They probably looked at like some tall buildings in like New York and France and stuff, because I think French
it's a beautiful building.
Pioneers of it. Yeah.
Chrysler Building.
I had to Google it. Yeah, it's beautiful.
But yeah, it reminds of the Angel Watchtower, oh?
Yeah, it does.
A little bit, yeah.
Where's this from? It's New York? Okay.
Yeah, it's a New York building.
So I gotta go
It was
live
the
there. So I can
tallest
feel
building
like
in the
city.
1930s worldwide.
For 1 year. Yep.
Yeah.
And then
So
the
we-
Empire State Building.
So we know
Anyway.
now. The city is New York.
Oh god. Well, with how tall everything is when you see in Life of the Party, like it's like a step up from Thief 1.
Yeah, and imagine Skekki's missions.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
So maybe Psychosis, there will be one day your area where you live will be
Will be a thief mission.
recreated.
It'd be cool.
Okay, so let's go forward. that was a very smooth transition.
I like it.
But I have a big one that I noticed. Maybe I'm wrong here, but
Okay.
correct me. So,
Always.
do you know how Truart in the conversation says, "A weapon, then"? And obviously, we learn that the servants are weapons. And
Yeah.
much later on in the series, when Garrett is speaking to, I'm totally spaced
Victoria.
out. Victoria, thank you. They're like, of course, the servants are weapons, and the nobles have just invited them into their homes. Well, yes, Garrett told you this. Yeah.
It was like probably a throwaway line, or the player thought it was like a throwaway line. Like
Yeah.
maybe Truart was just overreacting to it. But then like later on, you see like they actually literally are weapons to kill people with, and then you're like, oh shit.
I think that is something that goes through the whole game. That they give you hints on something that will be important way later in the story.
Right.
Mhm.
Like there are many little things that are mentioned, and I think this like you see. I think maybe this is like all about the servants. Like,
Yeah, but
like
I felt this was like
see how they
quite a
are
big thing.
forged, and now you see what they are made for for real, and yeah.
And it's also the first introduction to like the actual bots.
Yes, that's what I
think there's
wrote down
one big
on
and
my
one
long
small
list of notes.
Yeah.
My long list of notes said introduction to deal with metal beasts.
Yeah, and then there's the readable on the
Actually, that's what I
on the
mean.
workshop table. Yeah, and it's like it's from Kara, so he's like, oh, there's an issue. Like if you put water into the boiler hole, that just sounds wrong, but if you put water into the boiler hole and overflow it, they shut down. It's like they're great machines, but if they walk out in the rain, like we're done for.
That's a new sexual phrase, actually. I would boil
water
her
in the
whole.
Oh
Wow.
man.
I mean, that's what he says.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
Oh man.
But yeah, I wrote it down when reading this readable. How many players missed this part? And those that missed it, did they ever try to put water in the boiler hole?
Actually, yes, I can tell you because I found that out before I read this.
Really?
Yes, because as my 12, 13-year-old me, like every mission after the first two was like really overwhelming. So, and this metal beast was scaring me. So I found out I had to find a way, and of course there's fire on the back.
Mm-hmm.
So
Very
I
obvious.
threw a water arrow at it, and it stopped. And then I figured out after some seconds, like, okay, one arrow isn't enough for the big ones. So no, wait. I found that out. There's that little child of Kara's in the workshop.
In the workshop, yeah.
And before reading this, I found that out. And then I read it like
like you felt so smart,
of course, like
that
as
you
I
found
said
it out
2
before.
weeks ago, like when roping up that thing at his apartment, I felt really thievy Garrett-like. So I was outsmarting the game.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, it's the little things,
Yeah.
And while we're in the basement, the dialogue between the two mechanists, where she's like, "I'll help you relieve thy tension," or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just,
It is Karis who is truly smart.
Yeah.
But they never said it's Alex who's really smart,
No.
Actually,
Oh,
no. You didn't update it to 1.27. Now it says she says no, it's Karis who is really smart, and he says no. Actually, did you hear about this guy, John Smith? I think he's even smarter. And
Yeah.
she's like, blasphemy. But yeah,
Yeah.
they're very poetic, the mechanists. Always with the now we're like
The metaphor, right?
Yeah.
Always metaphors with like being a cog in a machine or like a thing in a boiler.
Yeah. It
Like they're
says
crazy.
it
As
says in
you
the
said earlier,
manifest.
it's brainwashing. Yeah.
Do you know how
I think when you read one of the things, it's like the mechanists make the Hammerites look sane or something.
Yeah.
I think that's
Isn't that a sayable? Like Garrett says that?
Yeah, Garrett says that
Yeah.
I think when he reads the
No, that's one quote. I put it at the end where Nex was. What were you explaining at the end of the one episode? And then I
Oh.
put the quote there. This guy makes the Hammerites look sane.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what it was, and I think it was.
Some of the Lost
Is
City
it on
or
this
something.
mission? Oh, it might have been Lost City. Okay.
No, I don't know. I think it was there, but I don't know.
No, isn't that at the Angel Watch where you read the new
Right.
scripture?
Right, I think it was that, but maybe the forums can enlighten us. But I'm just wondering at the moment, what was it? What you were? You were explaining the thing with
Crates.
the crates.
The crate.
In
Shipping
Mission
and
2.
receiving.
Yeah, right.
If anybody wants to hear more about the crates, buy my book on them. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I think
How to mantle boxes by
50 crates of Grey. Like I think is.
Oh my god.
John
Hey.
Smith and the crate in the water.
No, I think actually 50 crates of Grey is like a genius title you should aim for.
Rename the podcast.
Or 50 Shades of Crates. I don't know.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So, what mission were we talking about?
Eavesdropping.
Eavesdropping. Well, whenever you eavesdrop, things get a little bit creepy, I guess.
Yeah. Like with the we touched on earlier with the dead bodies in the servant making like a little room, and
Yeah.
you see like one of them like laying down, like about to get a mask put on it, and then like on the other side of the room they're like in the tubes, like in water, as if they're like in an egg or something.
Yeah. Also, I found it weird that the servant is making the servants.
Right.
No,
So
I
it's-
think that's actually showing how morbid it is.
Yeah.
But at the
that he
table,
truly
there's a
doesn't care. Wait, what?
one of the mechanist servants is, looking down on the woman that's about to have the mask put on.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like the mechanist servant is at work making mechanists
More servants.
Yeah.
Right, and I think they did it just to show how
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, like how
it's perverted. It's the same like if you as a prisoner would have to put the kill switch, like to
Yeah.
another prisoner. It's like I think.
Yeah, it's like messed up.
But I have one question. Maybe you have the same, because in that mission, when you enter the catacombs, which is clearly Hammerided, it's a
Yes.
Hammerite site. For me, it's always like sympathizing with the Hammerites, because it's like, okay, I'm in this area with those bad guys that really are wanting to kill me, and they are really perverts. And now I'm in that Hammerites area, and even if it's dangerous, but it feels like, the Hammerites went so bad. Like you suddenly like feel like, Hammerites, wish they could come back.
Do you remember back in the day?
It always feels like, for me, like when I enter those catacombs and you see the dead mechanists, it's like, yeah, good job, guys. Goodbye, but good job.
Yeah. Common enemy, I guess.
Yeah, right. It's actually, it's like the enemy I know.
Yeah. It's
But they went that bad.
yeah.
So, do you have the feeling or not? This was my question.
Yeah, I do get that sympathizing with Hammerites. Like it all goes with that quote that you mentioned about making them look sane.
Yeah, it's like you spend all of Thief 1 like kind of being not like enemies, but like also not friends, just kind of being like mutually not agreeable. And then
Yeah.
like at the end of it, you have to like kind of work with them to stop this trickster
they help you with the
uprising. Yeah,
eye.
and they help you. They give you like an eye that'll explode and kill him and whatever.
No, your actual eye.
Yeah.
Psycho, you know more about Thief 1
Thief
lore
1,
than
yeah.
anybody on this podcast. So the enemy in the first Thief game is the trickster. Are Hammerites?
trickster.
Yeah.
Trickster.
Trickster and a little bit of Hammerites, yeah.
Are Hammerites ever involved in the downfall of possible downfall of humanity?
No.
Or are they just
No.
righteous justice upkeeper?
Not in the original missions. I think maybe in some like some magic and stuff. Maybe in FMs later. But yeah. But you were asking psychosis.
They were always just like a little, like I guess in the story, just like a very radical religious group, but like not harmful to like the greater society. But like in Thief 2 with Mechanists, like you could tell they're starting to do something.
Yeah.
Like they have a goal, and you start getting like hints of it here with making servants into kill machines.
So you're confirming this?
Sorry, but what is their goal on killing all the rich people?
Well, okay. I mean,
Is it just to have mechanists?
This is a spoiler for later in the game. Like, is it fine if I say it? You know, like what the goal is?
Go ahead.
He just wants to turn everything into metal. Karis. He believes everything should just be wiped. All organic life should just be like kaputs.
Yeah,
except him, of course. Yeah, because he knows better. Because you start seeing it in the readables later on. He thinks so highly of, like he thinks he's like almost at the level of the builder.
Yeah.
And that's why like the Hammerites hate him. And like in Mission 2, like the Hammerite conversation where he's like, "Oh, don't say the name of those mechanists or whatever." Like they hate mechanists because mechanists like see themselves above Hammerites and like very close to the builder, whereas like Hammerites kind of see themselves as like servants to the builder.
Obey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he just wants to kill like everybody except himself and make everything metal in his image.
And of course,
but you know,
you're striving for power, of course you're going to kill the rich people, the nobility. That's they hold the power.
Okay, you just gave me the answer to the question I didn't say. So great job.
Oh, you're welcome.
No, I was just asking for that. But why just the rich people? Because poor ones. But of course, he's getting rid of the poor ones through the blue coats for the servant. Yeah. That's it. It actually, it's such a genius plot.
Karis is like 500 IQ. Like
and the
so
thing
smart.
with Mosley and Hagen and Garrett, you know, like in theory, like getting rid of all of them in one thing, or preparing to get rid of them, and that's the really amazing plot, actually. And 20 years later, I see that. That's amazing.
Yet he sounds like Droopy Dog.
Yeah. That's like the one flaw with him, right? Is like he sounds like
it's like
Snoopy.
But I think it's important because I think they put thought into this, because if he would have sounded like a real, like, you know, like with the dark
macho
voice
man
and stuff,
like
or
like sinister,
or that wouldn't, you know, you have to have something to, or actually I think this even shows how genius he is, that even with his like
small demeanor,
and the thing is, people would maybe take him less serious, he still can access all those things and achieve that. So I think for the player, it's just like not taking him too serious, like
Maybe-
something awkward adding to him.
Maybe this drives his hatred for humanity. You know how if you would have this kind of voice, little posture, you could easily be picked on, and
He might have
ridiculed.
been he might have been like a
Bullied.
nerd, a bullied,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, the typical thing, which
Mechanists rise
it's
up.
just interpretation of us, but what they did there with this voice, it's just that thing, amazing. Like you can put it in so many different directions.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Also, there's this weird little note in the mission that I didn't understand. I'll just quickly read it out.
Mhm.
Thy name, Master Gaspar, thy name was mentioned to our Lord Karras as one who might be welcoming to the future. Perhaps thou hast heard of the Mechanists, but thou may be confusing us with our hoary forebearers, the Hammers. Where they spurned thou and thy kind, the Mechanists embraced those with a voice in the city's future. Perhaps thou might attend a sermon at Angel Watch. There be many wonders we would be happy to show thee in our workshop. So at first I thought this is a readable that was in the Hammerite church, but is still there because Mechanists just took it over. But then I realized that this is a message to somebody who's already denied by the Hammers. If I'm
Yeah.
because it says, and like it confuses me. So is this one of the, because acolytes are part of the religious order, right?
Right.
The Mechanists.
And the guy that's
You find this in the acolyte chamber.
I
right?
think,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's assigned by friend Thickspring, and it's to
Tickerspring. Yeah.
Tick
Tickspring. Yeah.
Tickspring, and it's to Master Gaspar. So why is this Master Gaspar? Is this like a mechanist employee who was maybe
It from the sounds of it, it's probably just another noble. And in Life of the Party, like he throws the party for all the nobles and gives them the guests and all
Mhm.
at Angel Watch. So he probably told one of his like acolytes, like, "Hey, send a letter to this guy. Mosey up to him. Make
Mhm.
it seem like we're welcoming him and get him at that party because I need to kill him.
Okay, that's a good point, because I felt like the theme of this, not the theme, but like a side theme of this mission was to show how the mechanists are on the rise. The readable you mentioned, that's between the piers and the church, where this woman is saying this, how she found the sermon very beautiful, and then
Yeah.
actually invites Karras to dinner at her house. There's also another readable in the mission, I'm not sure where it says like, I know that you favor only the nobility or something, and he was saying that he would send gifts, but he doesn't want the gifts to be misinterpreted or something like that. But in its core, it's many people trying to get in favor with the mechanists, and clearly the mechanists are trying to get. So okay, yeah, this explains that.
I think the conversation from before with the lords, that they count on the Mechanists, that they have power to get rid of the army of the Baron who's coming back from the war, and taking back their privileges. I think that's one of those hints already why they favor him. And of course he gives them gifts, cheap servants, and of course the whole
like security cameras system,
right, and the whole
protection.
the whole way they look, it's more beautiful, it's more appealing, and I think it suits more for the rich people. They are like amazed. Oh, look at this, like it's beautiful. How could you achieve that? So it's well thought through.
Yeah.
Yep.
What I never got is like, is Karras really thinking this, or is he really convinced by his or is he just having Yeah, is he just angry?
Oh, I see. So if he's really,
I think he's just mad, like crazy,
I
Yeah.
see.
just losing his
So
like.
he really thinks what
Like
he
he's
what he
equal.
prays.
Yeah, he probably wholeheartedly like believes whatever he's saying, and genuinely thinks he's like up there with the builder.
Yep.
And yeah, like he's just I think he's just going crazy, pretty much
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
up his own ass, pretty much.
But he's still
Sorry,
very
boiler
clever,
hole.
you know.
Boiler hole. Yeah.
That's what he said. Great.
Mhm.
Was there anything else next?
I have
you
I have one
thought
more
of?
question for you guys.
Okay.
So we can probably agree that standards of living in the city are not that high.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's many thieves. There's a lot of criminal activity. But besides all of that, we have the morgue in Framed. We have the laboratory in Eavesdropping. Tell me,
Right.
who's this guy that keeps the loot on dead corpses? Like, Jesus Christ, too many. And even with the dead bodies, okay, I get that. It's a small little ring. You wouldn't get it, but you, of course, when you would take a body, even before you'd throw it down there, you'd take the rings away, wouldn't you?
Yes, of course, especially in that time.
Well, you know,
Uh,
if you remember, you know, Thief 2014. You know, they're looting the dead bodies because that's
I
canon,
was
right?
just going to say that, right? Yeah,
The cock
Okay,
ring.
so
I think
So-
that was a that is one of the few things they made that was pretty great in Thief 2014.
well,
Like,
for me, this is the first
One
thing
of the
that's
few
actually an improvement. This is the first improvement I hear of.
The
So
first.
the
Probably
dead
the
bodies
only.
down. Yeah.
oh, the graphics.
Okay.
No.
All right, come on.
Yeah.
No, but I like that one. That was like this whole mission was the one I really kept in mind, where you go through that slaughterhouse. And yeah, the first time you meet the guy, little Easter egg. He was the sheriff as well, right? And
I think
the
so.
bad guy, yeah.
I don't remember much from Thief 2014, and I
but
don't want to.
but he's whistling a melody, and this melody is from from a very old game. He's whistling that. I can't recall the name of the game, but yeah, that was an interesting Easter egg. Yeah, but yeah, you're totally right. Next, I always wondered that, like in Mission 3 in Framed, where there's that dead body where he says he won't need that anymore. Like, it's pretty obvious hanging on his side at the pocket.
Right.
Yeah.
You would think like the guard, especially at least in Framed, with how like corrupt they are, they would probably like pocket that or something, you know.
But there's so many. Actually, even poor people leave their things sometimes, like next to their sleeping place on the floor.
Yeah, that's true. But I could argument there that they wanted closer, just to be like woken up if somebody would steal it or something. Also, I think I know why the purses were in the police station and in this mechanist church, and it's because there were always a pair of 2 or 3 carrying the body, right? So one would notice it, and he was like, "Ha, I really want to take this, but I can't take this. My brothers will notice this, and they will.
My friend.
My
My
friends will,
friend,
yeah, or my fellow police watchers will notice this, and then they will,
write you up or something. Yeah.
I'm trying to make a joke, but it's just not going.
It's not coming out.
Ah, oh, it was a joke. Psychosis, did you get it?
What a jerk! I can't believe you.
Yeah, you know who you are. You are the jerker
Oh man.
from Batman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When the mission is finished, is there's no cutscene at the end? No.
No, yeah, there's just a briefing for the next one, which
Yeah, makes
get
sense.
get into that with
Because,
that. Yeah.
But this being a very small mission, you and for a small mission, there's quite a large amount of conversations, and I feel like every conversation unlocks a patrol. So whenever
Right.
you're getting back to the place where you started from, suddenly there's a million people patrolling there, and the mechanical guard even comes. Or
Yeah.
actually, he comes there before, but returning to the place was I felt like I'm done now. I can just hippity hop over there, but no.
I don't know what you mean. They were sleeping at the places they were talking. Am I?
Yeah.
And for such a small mission, there's like a ton of loot,
Oh
and
yeah,
the loot goes high too.
super
Ton of
high.
loot and a lot of readables and a lot of
Yeah.
a lot of like introducing the mechanists to you really.
Yeah, so it's
Um,
important. Don't skip it.
Yeah,
Don't skip the
for
mission
the first time, yes.
for the first time. Definitely, it's important.
But I think they should have
Expanded.
taken some of the working time they put in here to the mission before.
Damn.
Yeah,
I still prefer-
for adding to the whole atmosphere and the city, but yeah, in general,
Actually-
I can admit, of course, for like getting to know the mechanists and to give you an idea of the whole thing, this is a very important mission, and everything you do in it is on a paper is fun, but I still think that the environment was chosen poorly.
Yeah, it's like when we talked about Ambush and we said it has a lot of geometry. It's spacious, it's big, but it's empty. And this one is, on the other hand, smaller,
Small,
basic,
compact. Yeah.
but a lot of story points.
Yeah, but I think in this case they should have built like a mechanist dedicated environment, because this would have made sense like in a, I don't know, factory like area, where you have like maybe some office buildings where maybe Karas and Truart could meet, and then you have the facility where they create the servants, and then you have like the workshop. This would have all made sense in like in a totally different environment, because the things fit together to one place, but not to this one.
Right. It, like we said a lot. They built the missions first, so they probably just like were like, "Oh, I bet a church would be really cool," and they just like made it, and then they had to put it somewhere.
Yeah, and the church they built is pretty cool. It's a place you remember from the outside, and especially the cathedral inside. But yeah, it doesn't fit very well. I'm just thinking like what, if they could have swapped it with something else, but
Put it like earlier, later. No,
not swap. Swap the environment with a different thing. But so, for example, shipping and receiving, the environment would have made more sense to the purpose of what
the
they're doing
meeting.
there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like maybe one building of it, like is a mechanist,
like an office in the building or something.
There are offices already. Maybe they wouldn't have been that empty in shipping and receiving,
Right.
and then they had the facilities there to build like the servants and a workshop would make sense there.
Right. Yeah.
But of course, otherwise, shipping and receiving was a great mission. So I think it's that one mission where the whole environment is like just disturbing.
But to counterpoint this, Soulforge.
What about it?
Soulforge
it would fit.
Soulforge is a cathedral, right?
It's a cathedral, and on the topic, it's like pretty like unrealistically huge. If you
That's
think
true.
about it, like you
But it's
see the
also
front
a
of it.
factory / warehouse.
That is true.
But they needed this place for like for later.
Yeah,
That's true.
Soulforge is because they probably like had an idea to make like a huge like factory / church.
And I love the name. Soulforge
Soulforge.
is an amazing name.
That's the best part of the mission.
The name. Yeah.
That, I agree with that.
Yeah. As I said, like after mission 10, there's not a lot.
Kind of drops. Yeah.
I think the idea was amazing. I think it's just not maybe not. I think there are other people on the forums there that say, "Oh, I love the revisiting the Lost City or whatever and the Cetus project." But yeah,
I can be the voice of anybody who likes casing to joint and masks.
but this
I
was
like Masks.
Thief 1, so Masks
Oh.
was actually amazing because
I thought you-
It was a
it
good
had
level.
aesthetics that were way different from most of the
very
Thief 1
And
missions.
just a cool building to like go through and everything.
Oh yeah.
Hitting the we'll get into that when we get there.
Oh, we
the-
can't
all the
wait.
little
years.
secrets.
Oh.
2 years. Yeah,
There's a couple between, yeah.
a lot between. Yeah.
A lot of good ones.
So, are we done already?
I have nothing
Ma-
else to really say.
Yeah, I've exhausted my list as well.
So we can all agree this mission sucks, and no, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Of course, it has its.
I'll concede that it's like mediocre, but like it's just a personal thing for me. I really like it.
I'll sign under that.
Yeah, it's always against me, guys. I'm the hammerite in this discussion.
Yeah, that's why you hate it. Because you're like, damn mechanist,
right. Yeah.
kicked me out.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm always hammer right.
Oh, man.
I think it's a good point to stop here. Oh, next, your poem. What did you write for us this episode?
For this episode, it's
Hammer 1 and 4 and 5. What the ticket line?
Is there a roses are red version for the mechanist? Roses are red, violets are blue.
No. Roses are dead.
Oh, that's
Roses are dead. Violets.
Violets too?
Aren't more violets too.
Floor is metal.
Floors metal. Garrett. John Smith. I got you.
I like it. Oh man.
Yeah, that's amazing. So can we repeat that? So roses are dead. Violets too. Floors metal. John Smith. I got you. Amazing.
The Karas is quite the poet.
He has such a way with words. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So, guys, it was a pleasure again. Thanks for listening, Teffers, and see you next time. We don't know what it will be. We won't spoil anything. See and listen soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, our business here is finished.
Yes. Very well, Twig.